though.
Oh, hold on. Adam says he.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Dr. Fears here. Welcome to another episode of Adrenaline, the podcast with Dr. Fears and the big head himself, Kenny Nowling. Right now, we've got Kenny and a very special guest in the green room waiting to join us. But for now, we're going to wait for the big head to hop into this green room so we can get him to join in with us. But what a great week, man. We got this great big badass event going on in XRP here at the beginning of June, which we cannot wait for.
1 week closer.
It sounds like we're getting all the rain out of the way down there. Thank God.
Amen.
Kenny's down there, really big head's down there, really knocking it out, getting all the pisser posters and all the free tickets handed out with his sidekick. Do you know the name of the sidekick? Prince Adam.
No, I don't.
What? The owl. Come on.
Oh, crap. From last week.
Oh no, you can't drop the ball on this.
Oh, man. Where's my memory? Where
is your memory?
Oh, no. It was named after a guy. It started with a C.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, piece it together. I keep thinking Chumley, but that's not
Chumley.
Right. Yeah, that's from that Pawn Star show.
Buddy. No,
I know.
Not Chumley.
I know. That's just where my brain's taking me.
Conrad.
That's it. Man,
yes,
Conrad tweeting.
Conrad.
That's what I should call him in my head. I don't know if they did, but that's a heck of a name for him.
Yep. So Big Head and Conrad hanging out down there, getting things going, and they're making it happen for sure.
If I'd only looked in the comments sooner. Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. I love doing the comments. The only problem is I think once you hit your 40s, I know, the eyeballs don't tend to work as well, unfortunately. So I'm going to look in the monitor here so we can read some notes here. I love it. We got Will in the house. We got Rick Moore. What's up, Rick? Got Tony. What's up, John? So I also want to give a big shit out. Isn't that funny? I always want to give a big shout out. Big shout out to Nick Rabe. So I didn't know this about Nick, but wow, what a badass motorcycle drag racer. He's been at it for a long time. I didn't really know a whole lot about Nick. I knew that he was a fan, and when you talk about loyal fans and somebody who's really out there helping promote the ADRL, he's really been there by our side, getting things knocked out for us, sharing content and just tons of great stuff. And also Nick won last week, 2 weeks ago, the $100 and some other goodies we got sent to him. So we wanted to tell you, Nick, we appreciate you, brother. And if you're in the house with us, happy to have you here.
Indeed.
Yep, for sure. So we're filling a little time here. Big Head has got a little bit of some technical difficulties, which is not a big deal. So we're going to go ahead and get him in the green room.
Yeah, it looks like we had a bad invite link, so we're going to resend that on over to him, and then that'll put us right back on track.
Yep, but it does look like we have somebody very special in the green room.
Is in there,
and I so bad want to say his name because I'm going to tell you, I have heard about this individual since Kenny and I have known each other. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I've heard a tremendous amount of information about him. But Kenny has just really said nothing but amazing things about this person. And I can't really go into a whole lot of details. So not to digress or sound redundant, but we're excited to get him introduced here as soon as Big Head gets in. It's just not the same without your brother. So hope everybody had a great week, great weekend.
We've got a guest.
Oh, hey. There they are. What is up?
Listen, you know what? Technical difficulties. We were on. Everything was good. I was in the green room. Then all of a sudden, but hey, listen, I'm drinking ADRL champagne. Okay.
That's right.
That?
Ooh,
Look at that. Look at that. Huh?
Oh,
ADRL champagne. Just pop the cork on a bottle. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Joining me tonight.
Shade an old fashioned with me.
Neither. Come on here a little closer, Bert. I'm not going to kiss you again. First of all, what about my new XRP garb? Check this out. I don't know where the camera is. Look at that. I'm all backwards. I miss the studio so much. I miss you guys. XRP, where are we at? There it is. XRP, Ferris, Texas.
Galen Smith,
as Clyde Scott would say. At any rate, so yeah, man, here we are. I'm thrilled to be on. I'm going to actually adjust this a little bit. We had it where we wanted it, and then all heck broke loose with the technical difficulties. And I got my mom Letha over here in the corner feeding me Prozac, so I'm good now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I'm good now. How are we coming in, Adam? How we feeling? How we looking? We jiving? What's going on? How we doing?
No, I don't know if we could do any better.
Well, obviously, I mean, you got the big head and Dr. Fierce. So what's up, Dr. Fierce?
Hey, what's good, my brother? Man, I was glad you're hopping on here. I'm filling the gap. I'm thinking, I'm a rock star. It's no big deal. I got this shit.
Yeah, we don't need this big head. Who's this guy? We don't need this guy.
I was trying to talk with him, and then I had to take a call. It got chaos.
Oh, quick. Yeah. And then I'm like,
well, yeah, because I got Bubba over here, and I'm like, hey, Bubba, we got a problem here because I'm not like getting into the green room. So I think what I did, listen, I'll own it. When I screw up, I'll own it. Okay. I think I used last week's green room link because it's like the show is ended and it was this long. And I was like,
gotcha.
Man, are you kidding me right now? Seriously? And I don't know if my camera's backwards. How am I in the frame? Am I all right? I mean, my head's massive.
Yeah, it's barely contained, but you're in there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And you know what, Animal? Tommy Rogers, aka the Animal from the ADRL, chiming in. You're exactly right. Fierce could do this thing solo. He doesn't need the big head, but the big head needs the doctor.
And I need the big head, man. I felt like I was digressing pretty fast,
It's a team,
but I'm super excited about the green room and what we have.
Oh my goodness!
Without giving anything away.
Oh, I just gotta. All right. So I can't cry. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. I will show you though. Little gash. You're gonna have to wait and go to the ADRL Facebook page tomorrow to see why I'm covering it up with this hat. Of course, I got on my beautiful Fatheads. I want to thank Rico Elmore at Fatheads. We're going to have him on next week. They hit some weather in his jet, and he was circling, so they're putting him at a different airport. I don't know what's going on, multi-millionaire problems. So that's what's happening. Rick Moore, our director of tech, chiming in.
Can't wait to see you, Rick.
So, Piers, what's going on? Talk to me, brother. I miss you, man.
You see it. I miss you too. I mean, I'm following you on the pages. I see you out there with Conrad handling business. One minute you're kicking ass, the next minute you're literally kicking ass and getting your head busted. And it sounds like good old Texas time down there.
See the other guy. Speaking of Conrad, come on in here, baby. There you go.
There he is. What's up, buddy?
There he is, my dude. He was feeling a little left out, so he's back there hooing and talking. Listen, I don't. All right. He wants peanuts, man, constantly in my ear, all day in the back seat.
Only if they're boiled. Only if they're boiled.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the deal. And I'm just like, he's like, find me some boiled peanuts and just all day. And I'm telling Bubba, I'm like, he's like, man, we're not in the Carolinas. We're in Texas. We don't have boiled peanuts down here. I don't know what you're talking about. So we got to hit up the Walmart. We're giving free tickets to the greeters at all the Walmarts anyway. To that event, there's this event coming up in Ferris, Texas.
In case you haven't heard.
Park, Dragpalooza, ADRL Unfinished Business. Got as of today, and I need to update it, but we've been a little bit busy. I need to get Jess to update it, but we're at 26 entries for Pro Extreme now.
26. Kenny, you just dropped this on me. Oh my Lord! Son.
I told you I had a couple of surprises for you tonight. Nothing like what's waiting in the green room, though. I'm just telling you, Conrad, if you don't behave, I'm going to put you back in the car. Okay? Look at him. He's even nodding his head yes. You see him?
Yeah.
That's slow now. Woo. All right. So check it out. And Bubba's actually wearing the shirt. Lean in here, Bubba. This is
how's it going, Bubba? Good seeing you, brother.
The misprint, if you can see it. Or here, you know what? Turn around. We'll be able to see it real good.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks good.
Notice this. Nobody caught this. Come on back, Bubba.
I'm trying. Damn.
Come on back. Well, heck, I can move the camera. Listen, we can do anything we want back here. Oh, look at that. We got the ADRL on the TV in the background.
Just say fecal. Of fecal.
It's fickle. Let's not get seriously, fecal. We don't want to go there, but fickle. Yeah.
Fickle.
So we're 2 races into the 2013 tour. We wanted to get something. The in-tower officials and executives such as ourselves had the black with the green, the team, the A team, the core group of guys out on the from Animal to Hawk to Bones The entire crew, Frog, Quick, everybody, they had on, it's reversed, it's bright green with black, so we could see them anywhere. Because Bubba's like, I can't spot my guys, I can never spot my guys. And I'm like, it's all right. He's like, get us bright shirts. So I did. The only problem is Von Smith came up to me. We're 2 races into the 2013 tour, and Von Smith comes up to me and he's like, hey, did you do that on purpose as a joke or what? And I'm like, what are you talking about, Von? We're great friends. He says, you spelled official wrong. I'm like, man, if you want to see me with my shirt off, just ask. Now, you got to know Von Smith is like a bodybuilder, so he's like tore up from the floor up. So I'm like, listen, Von, don't mess with me, brother. I'm telling you, man, you're going to freak me out. You know how my OCD is. He's like, take your shirt off if you don't believe me. And I'm trying to like look down, and it looks okay on my chest. And I look down, I take my shirt off, and I read the back, and I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. How did all of it pass through all of these? It's kind of like the Bud Light thing. Like when the person had the idea, how did it get all the way through to the point that they actually did it?
Right.
You know, nobody spoke up, nobody on the board, nobody this, that, the other. It's like, really? Same thing here. Jason Allen
totally skipped the quality control section.
Yeah, but you know, and again, I never looked at, you think, listen, if we had Chat GPT back then, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, no shit, right?
So, but we don't.
The first person he called was me.
Yeah, I called
Take
Bubba.
your shirt off.
I said, take your shirt off and look at the back. I called him on the radio, and he's like, what in hell? So we go up there, and I had to get my emails out because I'm like, listen, there's no way that I approved this. Sure enough, I did. But again, I owned it. I ate it. Jason's like, I can get new uniforms to you. I said, no, listen, the 2013 tour, we are officially the ADRL official. So even when we would make calls over the PA, I'd be like, I need ADRL official Hawk to the starting line, please. I need ADRL official Hawk. And they're all sitting in the stands like, Loretta, what is wrong with that boy? Does he not know how to pronounce
in the wine, man? Yeah.
Or what, and a lot of people are like, what's an official? And I'm like, listen, and that's where Conrad came in. The one eye, because we got one eye in official, the one-eyed owl.
That's where he came from.
Perfect.
Absolutely. He's been with us ever since. He's got his own Pelican case. Only Bubba and I and a few others, of course, Fears, you're now a part of that club, are allowed to touch him without white gloves on.
I still don't touch him. I look at him from a distance.
He's more important than the Stanley Cup. Just trust me. You know how they always have to have on white gloves when they're holding the Stanley Cup?
Yep.
Same deal with Conrad. Yeah, you got to get to an executive level status within the ADRL.
Sure. He was riding in the back. The photo is him riding in the back, buckled in, holding his tickets.
Absolutely.
Well taken care of.
And just wait. Everybody thinks that like I'm kidding when I tell you that he talks back. He talks back. And I'm going to post a video tomorrow showing the entire world all day blabbing to us about these boiled peanuts. I'm like, Conrad, we don't go to the Carolinas until September. And then he literally just says, you know what? Turns his head around. He's like, look what I can do that you can't. So, yeah, it's all right, buddy. We'll get you some boiled peanuts, my little fella. So check it out. Not even the surprise that's waiting in the green room. Last week, we had the bald head, but listen, what happened since last week, I can't tell you how excited I am to make this announcement, because the A team was missing a piece of the puzzle, and it was a big piece of the puzzle. And to me, this is more important. Listen, we're going to land another huge title sponsor in the coming months, and all of these things we'll celebrate and so on. But I promise you, the announcement I'm about to make, not even my wife, Jessica, knows. Not even this man next to me, to my left, knows. Conrad doesn't even know. And listen, I'm pretty good at keeping secrets. That's a lie.
No, you're not.
I'm terrible at keeping. Don't tell me a secret unless you want everybody to know. Do not tell me a secret, because I don't want secrets, surprises. My wife will tell you. I want to know right now. Like, if something's going on, tell me right now, or, but so anyway, man, I said I was going to get emotional, and I'm not. All right. After a decade hiatus, the entire A team is officially complete again. He was only a free agent for a millisecond, and why anybody would ever, because I never did, and never will again. Only because we took a little bit of time off. And let's not forget, next year is our 20th anniversary tour. Only because we took a little time off did this member of the A-team decide, or not decide, I mean, he has to. This is how he makes his living. So without any further ado, and yes, the North Carolina Pro Modder, don't forget he is coming to the live stream our event, which I'm super excited about. Okay. Thank you, Jay, by the way, because I needed to exhale a minute, because if I start crying like a baby, this guy's never going to let me hear the end of it. So, because everybody in Texas is so tough, including the doors at Chili, which again, Chili's, watch the video tomorrow on ADRL's Facebook page at ADRL Tour. Yeah, watch that video and you'll see the whole thing unfold. And I was bleeding like a stuck pig. Ladies and gentlemen, with no tears in my eyes yet, I officially welcome back to the ADRL the best announcer in all of drag racing and the voice of the ADRL since Drag Stock 1 in 2004, Al Tucci. Welcome home, baby.
Woo!
Hey, what's up?
Yes!
Rose. Thank you.
Oh my
ADRL.
gosh, he brought me a rose.
I accept the rose. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to even be on your show. I mean, after all these years. And people don't know we've stayed in touch forever, me and Kenny and Bubba. And Doc, it's nice to meet you, bud. It'll be a treat to meet you in person, but I really enjoy watching you guys on this live. What's up? Are you all right?
So I everything's fantastic. I'm crying a little bit, but listen, I know Jess is bawling her eyes out right now. That young lady that picked you up at the airport in Jacksonville all those years ago. You still remember what color hat she was wearing, I bet.
Yeah. Visor, like a pink
yeah,
it's a golf visor.
Yeah, the pink ADRL golf visor. That was a big seller back in the day.
You did. I loved her from the day I met her. I did. She'll tell you that. She's such a nice person. And I love that guy.
And I love your wife Judy and your beautiful family. Al, welcome home.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure. I mean, I've been around and I've done almost every big race that's ever been a big race. And what you did years ago and brought to this table was incredible. And I said it to you just, a month ago. Don't ever quit. This is America, man. Go out there, make it happen. Be the promoter. The only thing you're missing is Don King's hair.
and Jess just chimed in, and you are absolutely 100% right. That rose was for Jess. I know it was, which is all good.
Yeah. Don't get jealous.
I'm giddy right now. Like I can't believe I kept this from everybody, even Conrad all day. Whoo. And I'm like, I'm not telling you. Whoo.
I announced faces with that owl in my face.
Yes.
And I had one of those green shirts. What did the doc call it? A fiscal? The official?
Yeah, he called it a fecal, but this is a fecal.
That's all right. It doesn't matter, Doc. A fecal.
Tucci, somebody wants to say hello right quick. Peek in here.
Oh, hey, look who's there.
How are you, beautiful? How are you?
Oh, my goodness.
Man,
we get Ashley and Animal and Hawk, Bonesy, Boo, Frog, Quick, the whole A-team back together, and we are going to take over the world together. We already did it once. We know the roadmap.
Nothing is impossible, my friends.
Amen.
I'm telling you, it's all about hard work and making people happy. And I think I know how to make people happy, but we just go out there and just light it up, light the wick, and just explode this thing again, like we used.
Amen.
Can you imagine? Yeah, very short wick on
very short wick for sure.
3.5 seconds. And I had one Pro Extreme guy tell me on the phone, a famous quote that is already being put on a T-shirt. Frankie Taylor said somebody was bragging about a 0.908 60 foot or something, and Frankie the Madman, 3-time Pro Extreme World Champion, says, and I quote, "If your 60 foot starts with a 9, you're already So
it'd be incredible. I've been watching your show. I do a lot of pro mod announcing all over the country, And I've seen those runs, those magic runs that happen every now and then. But you're absolutely right. I mean, these guys can turn these things up and let them fly. And I think when you and the doc were talking about it, that there's possibly a high 30, a low 40 coming. I really think there is. I think that, down a year from now, you're going to see those numbers fly.
Absolutely. The 330 club's coming,
Isn't it?
And to me,
incredible.
It'll be, we'll have it. It's sponsored, obviously, like we were humbly able to sponsor the Mickey Thompson 3-second club. We had the Speed Tech 3-second club for nitrous, the Mickey Thompson 3-second club.
My friend will sponsor.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
very
you
nice.
One of the nicest guys in the industry. I promise you that man is.
Yes.
And I'm going to just say his name, Cunningham, Stroud.
Yes,
Safety.
absolutely.
The guy's a great
Stroud
name.
Safety, and carrying on the legacy of Bob Stroud and what Carl White did when he worked for Bob for all those years. One of the top safety companies, if not the top safety company right now in drag racing. But Bonesy, my man, chiming in. Can't wait to see you. Alan Jess said thank you very much for her rose. I got to tell you, Tooch.
I'll have to flatten it out like in prom. Remember you saved them?
Yeah.
Or I could trade it for tulips.
Oh my goodness. So let's listen. Let's fast forward, Tooch, to first thing we got to do, Fears. We got to get Tucci on the company cell phone plan, because right now you're chopping up just a little bit, not a lot. It's okay, but I want everybody to experience the full Al Tucci.
Hold on a second. Is my phone bad, really?
Yeah, I'm like, look at me.
The vocals are
the vocals are spot on. You're beautiful, gorgeous, slimmed down, by the way, face. How much weight have you lost, Tooch?
35 pounds.
Good for you.
Congratulations,
so proud of you.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
so proud.
It's just that horrible disease called diabetes, and I'm not ashamed of it. You just have to go and fight it, and I fight it every day. And my thing is, I waited too long with the normal doctor, the house doctor. Now I'm seeing the guy knows nothing but about sugar in your body.
Good for you.
And his name's
listen.
Incredible.
The ADRL fans are going to as Wes Johnson said a few weeks ago, Wild Wild West, when we did the first episode of Adrenaline, he said, "You drop the pebble in the water and the waves are going to start coming." Tonight, the tsunami hit in the form of Al Tucci, the voice of the ADRL.
Yeah, baby.
Day one, baby. You're back. Fears, I know you got some questions for him, Doctor. Let him fly.
I have just very general questions, Tooch. How long have you been doing it?
38 years.
38 years.
I'm on my 38. Man. Yeah, I know I don't look that old, but I'm a year young. I'm saying 38 years. I started in 85, 86 at my local track, doing weekends. And then I got to say this, if you guys don't mind, I don't mean to drop names, but the late Jim Ledford from Mid-Michigan.
Yes, absolutely.
That man he heard me announcing Mikey and Jeff when they were 15. They didn't have a driver's license, and they had, dragsters running bracket class, and they won the race. I blew up a bracket race like I'd do any race when I was a kid, good. And he came up to me and said, "I got to have you announce a race at my track." And I go, "I've never done that, And he said, "I'll do this and this, get you a hotel and give you some gas money and show up." And I said, "Fine." And that's where I believe me when I say this, because every time I go there, I go to his gravestone. If I ever go, I haven't been there in a lot of years, but that means the world to me, that man, because you wouldn't be talking to me if I didn't have a family that owned a business at the time to let me go do what I wanted to do. And that man put me on the map along with Broadway Bob Metzler at Great Lakes Dragway.
And Mama Ledford too.
Well, Bubba knows, I worked alongside of Brett Kepner. He did all the big shows at Great Lakes Dragway, and I'd walk there. I'd wipe sweat off his forehead. He won't tell you that, but I did. I'd take paper towels and Jack, and we just brought the and to watch him, and then to learn. Actually, I'm not going to say just watch, but to learn the things I did. I'm fortunate to be 38 years and done some of the largest and fastest.
I remember I was 12 years old when you were doing your first gigs. Driving from St. Louis up to Great Lakes Dragway, sitting in the stand. In the stands, a thing of popcorn and some hot dogs.
I remember that because I remember you had no shirt on. You had spring marks from being in the back seat of your dad's truck to get.
Yes.
Let's go back. Doc, I don't mean to ignore you, but I could go on all night. So ask some more questions.
Oh no, please. I mean, look, I'm in a position where I've got the pleasure to ask some questions. So, when we talk about the ADRL and Kenny's excitement and your excitement, what makes it just such an exciting environment and opportunity to do this announcing for the ADRL? What really motivates the shit out of you to do that? For the ADRL specifically,
the people. When you look out of the stands, what that guy did for all those years, and I had young kids at the time, and they'd come to St. Louis, and my youngest kid, I think he was 10 at the time. He looked out the window, and he's seen people just standing, hanging off the bleachers, just doing whatever to get a seat. The people, the energy, the racers, the caliber of what they put together was phenomenal, and it can be again. Because you know what?
Oh, it will be.
It will be. But when you see the racers, they're right in line. The same guys that really were there in the beginning are in line again to make it happen.
Absolutely. And I can't wait, man. Fierce, when you and I are standing down on the starting line and Tooch is up in the announcer's booth at XRP on June the 9th, Friday night, under the lights, that first Pro Extreme qualifier. Whoever gets drawn, like usually they don't want to be the first pair out, right? But I promise you, every guy in the property is going to want to be the first pair to come out after the national anthem.
We don't even need to draw cards.
We won't. We're going to have every one of them fighting to have that first, to be on that first lap.
And I want to see some people cut off.
You couldn't have picked a better place to start over. I'm telling you. Such a phenomenal ability. The ownership.
It really is.
The leadership there. I mean,
I was out there today, and
they're such good people.
No doubt about it. And it is the perfect prototype. Like if I were going to build a drag strip, they should take the blueprints. Clyde Scott, Pro Extreme driver for many, many years, and now got one of the baddest hot rods on the planet. He'll be there, needless to say. Clyde Scott and his wife Amanda, the owners of XRP and Ferris, they have built the exact, he thought of everything because he did it from a racer's perspective and a spectator's perspective. He put the business needs aside and is like, I want to make this the most racer-friendly, spectator-friendly track. And if I was building a track tomorrow, I would pay him whatever he wanted for those plans to that place and duplicate it. When some of these tracks that are closing around the country, if somebody wants to open a new one, I beg you to go to XRP in Ferris, Texas, and tour the facility. Galen and Celeste Smith. Galen's not only going to be doing his general manager duties that day, he's also going to be running in Pro Extreme because you can't keep the Texas Bounty Hunter away when outlaws are racing, right? Yeah. So, but I'm telling you, just being out there a little while ago, I saw our good friend Kayla Morton was out there testing her Mustang and got to see her. Howard Moon was down. Dr. Moon. I got to see Mick Snyder, former ADRL Pro Extreme World Champion 2012. Mick Snyder was in the house.
No kidding.
It was unbelievable, man. And Kayla makes this crazy lap, but I just can't wait, to have the A-team back together and you now completing that missing piece of the puzzle. Fears, just trust me on this, brother. When we're standing down there and you're looking out at a sea of people and two 5,000 horsepower Pro Extreme cars are directly to your left and right, and you can still hear Tucci over them, you'll know why it was so important that the voice of the ADRL comes home. So,
amen.
Tucci, you've got a lot of them, but share one of your many favorite ADRL moments. There's so many, so many. What about the Latinos down at Houston Motorsports Park? Remember the guys on the horses that rode up on the
remember the jet police cars or funny car?
Yes, Mike and Maria Hojanaki.
Yes, and then I'm looking and this
Hojo.
like tree fort. Okay, it's a nice place. Don't get me wrong, beautiful facility. And we're like,
if they had more shutdown, we'd be going back there in a heartbeat.
And I'm looking out the back window or something, and I see all these Spanish guys on horses, and they're riding up to the back of the track out of a ditch. There's like a ditch, and you see them come up.
Up on the railroad track. Yes.
Yeah, the jet, and there's a fence. Don't get me wrong, there's a huge fence, and then the jet car starts up, and all of a sudden, and these horses. I am not shitting. Kenny was there. These horses flip out. The guy didn't have any control. Horse does a U-turn and just splits down the ditch, out the back door. The guy, he was no longer a ranch hand. He was just and then the other guys that flew off the ditch and into the mud. The crap.
The afterburner kicks in, and these guys literally go flying. When I say flying, I'm talking about flying, fears. Like off, they were standing on the guys that were sitting on the horses, but the guys that rode the four-wheelers up, because there's train tracks that run right behind there. They were standing up on the seats, and we kept trying to tell them, I'm like, will somebody please Google free tickets in Spanish, excuse me. Will somebody please Google free tickets? Because they don't understand. Like, you don't even have to pay to get in.
You don't have
now, we wouldn't charge them $20 to saddle their horse or to tie their horse up. But,
oh, my God. It was unbelievable.
Well, that would have been a scene. Oh, my gosh.
There's so many stories and they're all true. And
so I interjected that one. You tell one of yours.
One of mine was, I'll save it to when we're alone. One of the good ones, Diamond, the late Brian.
Are you referring to Memphis, Tennessee, maybe?
It was more of Norwalk. It was a Norwalk story.
I know what you're going to
do. Yeah.
There's so many crazy things that happened in those years that I announced there. You'd walk out of there, and this is no lie. Kenny go down, he'd get all these people to come around, give them $100 bills, ask them questions, throw T-shirts. And if you didn't feel like a rock star after every one of those events, something was wrong with you. I don't care. There was no such thing as tired. You know what I mean? All that exhaustion and all the energy that you guys put in those events. But, man, it was like you never were tired. You just kept going for those people.
Pun intended. I would have an adrenaline dump about, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, somewhere in there, Sunday morning, going into Sunday morning. And nobody, like, do not come and bother me. I'll never forget, we were in Ennis at the Texas Motorplex, and they had some overzealous security guy at the time. Big, hefty guy in the four-wheeler. Remember that guy with the beard? Mm-hmm. The guy that grabbed KJ that quick, he's got the correct credentials. He's too young, and he, snatched KJ up off the ground, and Quick walks over, and he says, boy, do you know who he belongs to? It's like, seriously, what are you doing? And I'm flying out of the tower. I saw the guy grab my, jerk him, and KJ's, crying, freaking out. What did I do wrong? Oh, man. Thank God Quick got him out of there before I got down there. But that same guy the next morning, when I have these adrenaline dumps, Bones would be halfway back to St. Louis, and I'm just sleeping like we're hitting railroad. It didn't matter. I'm just out because you go for those 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and barely get any sleep.
5 days.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And then when that adrenaline dumps so fierce and you're going to experience it, you just go into this post-adrenaline coma, pun intended.
Lethargic coma after
So this guy comes to our door. You're not even supposed to, per our agreement, they weren't supposed to have an event the next day, but they had this thing of all things. They had the bug out. So it was a bunch of hippies with Volkswagens coming out to drag race. And they were trying to get us we're in anybody's way. They're trying to get us. And the best part of this story is Mike the Hitman Hill. I'll get to that in a second. But he comes over and beats on the door to our motorhome like he was about to knock it through. And Bones opens the door. He's like, what? He's like, y'all need to move your rig and blah, 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 blah. And Bones is like, if you wake the guy in the back up after what happened with this kid. And I thought we squared everything away because I went down. We apologized. I gave him a 4X t-shirt. He was happy. Everybody was good. Couple of hats. This same guy comes over and is pounding on the door of the motorhome. And he's like, well, I'm going to go over to that motorhome. And when I come back, and Bones is like, if you go knock on that motorhome's door, you're not coming back. Because it was Mike the Hitman Hill and his crew that wore the green prison uniforms, remember?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Oh,
their
that's
starting
great.
line uniforms. They were literally Department of Corrections uniforms.
Look, that was
Not that
hilarious.
Mike's ever done anything illegal in his life. An amazing promoter, the Hitman is in his own right, but a badass race car driver, and was slaying it in Extreme 10.5 in that beautiful green 63 Corvette. Him and Steve Kirk and Marcus Burt, the Axeman, the battles they had back in the day. Michelle Wilson, Billy Glidden, Todd Moyer, Rodney Rosensteel winning that event in Houston in his Opel. Took his Pro Extreme Opel Fears, his Pro Extreme Opel,
An
and
Opel.
put little 10.5-inch tires on it and went out and beat their heads in.
That
It was
the
unbelievable. Spiro Pappas.
car I ever watched race.
Seriously, I mean,
that car,
the
you would've
wheelbase to horsepower ratio, maybe the biggest wheelbase to horsepower ratio of all time. And he drove the wheels off that. And he's got his like 10 and 12-year-old kids. They were his crew, remember?
Yeah, and I think that's where the Hot Wheels created the blower cars, you know, the little models, right, Bubba?
Yes.
And then you start seeing it, and I just remember that car, and I'm like, this thing's insane. And it's like, I could only vision that car when it was done, and looking for the kid from Life Cereal. Let Mikey drive it, because I ain't.
Needless to say, I don't know what happened. Zero idea what happened when he went to Mike Hill's pit. I have a good idea of what he was probably told or shown, but he did not come back. Bones was right about that. He absolutely did not come back. And then Jason Scruggs making a test run in his new Garrett race cars, the Stratus for the first time. He you know, the Mississippi Missile has no lift in him. So it's like the first test hit, you know, you think he's going to go out there and maybe go 60 foot or something and click it off. He's taking that thing to the stripe, and the hood catches just a little bit of too much air, and the hood flies off, hits the roof, the wing, the doors blow off this thing. And KJ, who would have been, I don't even know what year that was, 2006, 7. KJ's maybe 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
He walks up to Mr. Scruggs and he says, Mr. Scruggs, he said, you just won the world championship, and you have the fastest car in the world, and you just won the world championship 2 nights ago. And like, why are you changing cars? Just the, you know, and Mitchell, I'll never forget it. Mr. Scruggs looks at me and says, son, sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward. And KJ looks at him, and KJ looks right at him because out of the mouths of babes. And KJ said, well, it looks like you took more than a few steps back just now. Former drag stock champion and 8-time #1 qualifier, KJ Nowling.
Yeah, awesome.
I want to take a second, Al, because I know this is someone that was near and dear to your heart as well. You know, we found out that we lost Steve Gorman a few years ago. Time just gets away from you. Well, we lost Charlie Profit, Pro Extreme Motorcycle rider extraordinaire. His beautiful wife, Gooch, Virginia Profit. Send out our well wishes. I'm not exactly sure on the timeline of that. I haven't had a chance to call her, but this week we lost one of the all-time greats, man. One of the biggest regrets in my life is that someone who he reminded me of a lot, Steve Grebeck, never got to race in the ADRL, and his namesake, Steve Drummond, passed away. Cancer sucks, man. We all know it. We're all pulling for our sweet Lizzie Musey, but Steve Drummond, man, raise a glass to you, brother. Rest in peace and Godspeed, man. I wish you would have met that guy, brother. I wish you'd have met him. But Steve, to his beautiful wife and his child, our most heartfelt condolences and sympathies and prayers for just peace and comfort. Steve, you're never going to be forgotten, man. Your legacy will live on like so many others before you. So as part of the drag race fraternity, one of the greats.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please.
That's some of the greatest, you know, this sport. And all of you sitting there, right? Bubba will even say it, all the years sitting there, and Kenny, and you just have so much fun. And you have so much fun. And you just keep having fun. And then all of a sudden, things like this happen. And it's just bizarre. I mean, it's like it puts up the brakes on fun.
It really does.
And then what we do is we go and we race again, and we race on behalf of those people.
Absolutely.
And we celebrate their life by, you know, others that race. I mean, it's just everyone says this, and I'm not going to be the cliche guy that says it, but everyone says it's a family. Drag racing is the biggest family I ever met in my life. I mean, I never went to dinner at everyone's house, but I'm telling you what, I'm sure if I asked, I could.
That's a fact. We did eat steaks together in Huntsville, though.
You're an ass. You guys,
I still didn't get one. By the way, I didn't get one.
Yeah, well, you could have came up and hit the bone that I left over. That was great afternoon.
I mean, what you said though. Every friend I have in this world, they're drag racers. I don't have any good friends that play softball or whatever. They're all drag racers, and it hurts every time one of them leaves me.
I'm with you 100%. And I mean, I know it. There's things that have happened to us while we're at the racetrack after losing someone a year later. Remember when the kid brought the part of the car up, and I'm just like,
Burt Jackson, the great late Burt Jackson that drove for Enoch Love.
Yeah. Enoch Love, what a great guy.
Not at an ADRL event under our watch, but just the same at Rockingham Dragway. And
these cars can kill you, man.
Yeah, I mean that's just the reality of what we do. And losing Mike Walker, God rest his soul, in a crazy pit accident, and Ronnie the King Davis, one of my all-time best friends, and I talked to him.
ADRL official.
Yeah. The only time, remember in Topeka, Kansas, I gave Ronnie an ADRL official because he was overseeing us bringing in Top Sportsman. Talk about a guy who did so much for drag racing. Brought Top Sportsman from IHRA to NHRA, then brought it from NHRA to ADRL, ADRL to PDRA. That guy was absolutely the most devoted. Gave me a $12,000 golf cart as a birthday present. Davis Custom Carts. He was. To a lot of people, they would have considered him. Listen, let's just say what it is. Much like me, a lot of people, they misunderstand people because they see him out there in their element and they're like, oh, this guy's an asshole. The King was as good of a guy that you'd ever meet. But when he was at the racetrack, he was all business, man.
You put that IHRA shirt on or ADRL shirt on him, and he was an animal.
Yeah.
He was down there directing traffic.
Oh, forget it. He was in his element. Like, he'd always wanted to be in that shirt. Like, he had dealt with so many officials his whole racing career. He's like, as soon as he put that official shirt on, he flew out of that tire like his feet were on fire. And he was down in the staging lanes. He's like, you here. Let me see your Hans device. Like, he changed. He morphed into this like tech outfit because he's like, he took it from the tech guys for how many decades. And now he could give a little bit back.
It was funny. Kenny and I had a great time watching him.
His vision, he had a vision, man, because I'm going to tell you what, he won a lot of championships in IHRA.
Absolutely.
And after winning those, you think, when those guys get on a pedestal, right? And you stay there, I'm the king. There's a million of them that do that and they never leave the class. When small tire racing started to get big, that man had a Silver Nova and jumped right next. I announced in Alabama. Was that little track there? The little one where there was a hill and a house down on the right side. Not Kennedale. That was Tech. But
Steel?
Look at him. No, it wasn't Steel. I announced there in March. It's a beautiful place. But
Atmore?
Butterbean runs it. The manager, the big guy.
Oh, goodness gracious! Now you're showing my age.
No, it's tiny. I mean, I'll get it in a minute here. It's right on the border, Georgia, Alabama. It's on the Alabama side.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
There a lot, and if you look,
was it Phoenix City?
Phoenix City, Alabama. There you go.
I know that track.
He showed up with a Silver Nova, and I'm like, really? That's him? He's going to race these guys? And man, he was whooping some ass. That guy, he just knew how to drive.
The only IHRA event I ever ran as a competitor, and they used to have a bracket race on Friday night. Then I pull out there in my 81 Camaro, and I'm ready to go, and I look over, and Ronnie Davis is in the next lane. I'm like 19. I look over, and I'm like, well, at least I get to go home early.
When I did that, I drove my
That's when the track went the other way.
Yeah, I drove my dad's car just to bring this up to you, what you just said. So he goes, we get there, and it's a 1930 Chevy with a 4-speed 454 in it, and I'm a big 18-year-old jammed in there. And I used to go to the track always and watch everyone. And all of a sudden, this motorcycle, I count the cars. My first bracket race, I go, dude. I didn't say dude. That word wasn't out then. I said, Dad, that guy, that guy's badass. And my dad said, race him now because you're going to race him later. So just go race him. If you lose, you lose. But that's how you win, is by learning how to beat them guys. And I got my ass. I mean, I went home like you early. You know, I didn't ride behind the seat in the pickup.
I still have the time slip, though, with the King's autograph on it. And he went on to win Top Sportsman at that event. I'm pretty sure of that. But regardless, he beat my ass in the first round of the bracket race on Friday. I still have the time slip, and to be able to become friends with him. When Ronnie would leave a race, he would call me sometimes at midnight, 2 a.m. We'd stay on the phone for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'd ride halfway home with him back to Georgia, and it was
nice.
just so many great people, like you said, a big family. And I'm so excited that Dr. Fears and his beautiful wife Lori and their kids, Stevie, Hazel, my man Emmett, his mom Bonnie, who's our VP of logistics and event coordinator. I mean, it's the entire Fears family is now a part of not just the ADRL family, but the drag racing family. And once you're in that family, you're in it for life, man. So
what's even more interesting is just the finding out how close everybody lives in proximity. Even my brothers, my Fears brothers, who live in Texas. They're right there with you guys.
Yeah. I know. I can't believe it. So check it out, Tucci. His brothers went to Cleburne High School, the same place that this guy went 85 years ago.
Yeah, 82.
Really?
Yeah.
What class were you?
Is it
66?
That is
Class of
else.
66. I was -6 in 66.
I was born in 1948.
And he still, there's something to be said. Other than me, I'm evidently not taking the same vitamins you guys are, because none of you guys have aged. Tooch, you look the same as you did the first time you picked up a mic. Bubba, I thought he was 80 when I met him, but he still looks the same.
Hey,
He
dog
does.
just got on and said I look old.
That's
Oh,
Texas.
come on,
I
dog.
want to see a picture of you, dog.
Yeah.
That's
Well, the good thing is, when you get white hair like he did in his 50s, you look the same until you're like 80. So what's the difference?
At least I've got my.
Hey, but Bubba, they tried to. You're tough in Texas. Texas, a lot of great racers, great people. They tried to freeze you out a few years ago, and they still didn't get you. When the city,
McCamus had the police get.
They send more than the mafia over there. They sent a winter ass kicking to you guys, and you still made it. So God bless you.
You can't beat Texas, man. Once you're down here, you're here.
I know.
Well, there isn't a reason in the world to make any other announcements. I hate Rico couldn't make it on the night. I appreciate the perfectly. It's so nice to be able to put on a pair of sunglasses that actually fit. I don't have the nose bruising. I don't have the dents in my head. They just slide right on, baby.
Those are not his. He's wearing mine.
Those are fat heads.
Yours
are here, Bert.
I thought you said you changed them.
His are right here. Relax. Look, Dave, look good on Bubba.
The fat heads guy, right?
Come on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Remember, he brought Rupert.
He brought Rupert from Survivor.
He brought Rupert, the winner of the first Survivor. He brought him to the House of Hook.
Dude, I want to point that out.
That was before me.
There you go, Bert.
How's this look, Tooch?
Oh my God! Don't let Scotty Cannon see that.
Don't worry, Rico, and it's true generosity, and we'll announce our announcement with him. We'll make the announcement with him next week. Good. Unfortunately, millionaire problems. His plane couldn't land at the private airport he was trying to get into near Indy, so he had to be rerouted somewhere because of weather or who knows. But that guy came there, rolled up with Rupert, and Rupert's like, "This is the craziest shit I've ever seen, man."
Right?
With his tie-dye shirt and his beard.
And what an amazing dude, what he did for young people. And
wow.
You watch that show and you're like, hey, dude, but when you got to meet him and know what type of person that dude was, that guy would help anyone. I mean, I think it was in his wife, a school teacher, or he was a teacher, or he mentored kids and helped them out to go through life. If they didn't like something, he'd show them something else, to do.
Fears, you're always talking about my memory and my recollection. This guy you're talking to here, the Tooch, he's off the charts. He's off the charts.
That elephant brain.
You do. He does have the memory of an elephant.
Thanks, guys. Don't let the look.
But you're looking more like a stallion now.
No, I'm not. Hey, you still still can't rip my ADRL shirt wide open like he did in front of all the chicks. Mr. Man standing there. I'm just going, what world?
Okay, Coach,
I didn't meet you at the bike wrecks that night.
before we get off the air, you got to tell your Rockingham story.
Oh my God! I did text that. Bubba, you're my only witness to this.
We're the only two that saw it. Me and
right?
you.
So I'm sitting there.
I saw it too. I was in the winner's circle, by the way, Dr. Fears. When all this went down, we're doing the winner's circle.
Hey, it was incredible.
Was this the drunk guy down the hill?
Yes, yes. Tucci.
Let Tucci tell it. Much better. He announced it.
Million things at drag races, whether it's walking out to your car in the parking lot and seeing, some 5-year-old holding his dad's hand. I'll drive, Dad, or shit like that. But I'm just like, this story. And Bubba was standing right to my left over there in the tower. And I'm looking out and just had the greatest race ever and thanking everyone. Drive safe. You don't have to put the fences back up that you all knocked down. Just go home. Up out of the corner of my eye up there on that hill to my left. And the whole nursery of bushes and plants were ADRL posters or flyers, banners.
Yes.
Kenny
the hill at the rock sits on.
Yeah, and you must have put him in with the tent stakes or something. I mean,
I did. Whitney from Tysinger Promotions, TPI. You remember Whitney? Whitney and Jenny and I drove those banners into the ground with tent stakes because it was that camera one shot, and I wanted Flowmaster all over it.
It was beautiful. So I'm watching Bubba, and we're all right, thank you. And all of a sudden, Bubba standing next to me. I look out of the corner to the left up on the hill, and I go, hold on to the ambulance. Do not leave. Bubba's like, what? And we look, and there's this dude. He looked, I don't know if you've ever seen a deer jump a fence. This guy had his stretched out. I mean, there, like this, going down the hill. I mean, airborne. Touch, legs out, touch. I'm like, oh my God, to the ambulance. Do not leave. I don't know if this is going to happen. This dude made it again, hits the wall, and I think he put a toe tipper, got his toe hooked on the wall, went head first into the bike racks down there, the couch.
He left the shoe.
Bubba goes, holy shit. Bubba, you did. I'll never forget it.
Tucci, the best words. Tucci's ending to that, and he's like, and he sticks the landing, makes some noise, Rockingham.
And he sticks the landing. Let's make some noise. The guy gets up with his beer, I think, and goes, yeah. And I'm like, holy crap. I've never seen anything like that.
Meanwhile, one of his boots is still stuck between the bike rack. And this guy's walking out, and his foot is bent at a 90-degree angle. He's walking on his stub. Like his ankle is fractured, compound fracture, but he's had so much to drink. Because, like the great Steve Earwood, the former owner of Rockingham Dragway, where drag stock will be returning September 29th and 30th. You'll be able to get your tickets Monday, June the 12th. This cat, Tooch, is leaving, and he had so much to drink that day. Oh, I'm laughing. Now the tears are really flowing. The tears of joy. Fears, his leg was pointing the wrong way, man. His leg was literally pointing the wrong way. Jason Byers, what's happening, buddy?
I've been to hundreds of drag races. I've never seen anything like it, ever.
You should thank me.
Nothing could top that.
If only we would have had the videos rolling.
Yeah.
That would have been one of those billion hit YouTube videos, because he was fierce. He was literally like, he'd hit, and then he'd jump 2 feet, then he'd hit, and then he'd jump 2 feet, and then he'd hit, and then finally he toe sticks it,
I thought he was going to make it.
He does like a triple twist. He does like the triple Lindy that Rodney Dangerfield did in back to school. Boom, sticks the landing.
See the hill. If you have never been to Rockingham and you see that hill, and you look up there and think of some dude just stretching out and running down that hill, you're going to, oh my God, it's amazing he was alive. But
somebody actually just made a comment. They saw somebody do a flip and land on a cooler and ride the cooler down the hill. So it must be a pretty big hill. Must be a lot of great memories down that hill, as a matter of fact.
There's a lot of
all I can tell you is nothing will top the Deer Man.
No.
We never
get back to the race.
And
that guy's never going to a race again. He went home. He woke up the next day, and his foot was pointing at a 90-degree angle the wrong way.
We need to find him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Chris
Yeah, I
Pine,
was
the
thinking that
driver.
same
if
thing,
you
but
see him,
we
what's
should
up,
find
buddy?
that guy.
Sure we do. And
Oh
his
my goodness.
cane that he's got now, Bubba. We'll find him.
Yeah, we can
You know,
find
as I look over in the corner and I see some of Bubba's Dallas Cowboys memorabilia, I can't help but think about the late TT Jones.
Oh,
Uh,
great person.
remember when we had to finish the 2008 arm drop drags from Martin, Michigan? We had to finish that race in Radford. Remember? That's where Steve Gorman gave me the cut. And then I gave, like, I said, anybody, you know, me and my $100 bills back in the day, I said, anybody, and Fears was like, oh, no, don't quit talking about the $100 bills. Anyway, our boy,
You know,
he's
hey,
like, our controller's watching right now. Quit saying it, Kenny. Stop. She's listening. But anyway, I said, I'll give $100 to anybody that'll shave their head, and I'll donate $100 to whatever charity you want. Before you know it, these guys in Virginia, Gorman ended up like the late great Steve Gorman. He ended up shaving like 30 guys' heads bald. I'm out like three. I'm like, you know, I thought like two guys maybe would step up. Yeah, so much for that. But it makes me think of the late TT Jones and his beautiful wife, Angela, who I will, as soon as this race is over, the first Sunday. So let's see, we're done on the 11th. You can expect me on the 18th, Angela Jones, because she makes Sunday supper for all of her boys. The real mac and cheese, the collard greens and mustard. She opened the pot on her Facebook video, and it's got collard greens and mustard greens. And I'm like, I really debated. I immediately Googled how far it was from Ferris, Texas to Huntsville, Alabama. I'm like, I can get there.
Wow.
But of course, in Texas, it's like 100 miles from anywhere, and then you're still in Texas.
Well, it's 5 hours.
Wasn't he a treat to watch race? He had like a
Gosh, man.
The guy
KJ still
awesome.
has the helmet that he gifted him because
you remember how hard he tried to bend down? You watch him. I can get another inch down, man.
And he was such a big guy. It would be like watching LeBron James ride in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
And you know what? And when he put guys on the trailer, it was amazing. I loved it.
He was.
That guy
and
was
it
just
makes me
he's
think of
one.
Scott Gray. Scott and his wife at the time, Amber. Scott and Amber Gray. That race that we were finishing from Michigan, Fears, TT couldn't make it because that's when he first started dealing with his illness. And Scott Gray, talk about first class. He could have just taken the tree and taken the trophy from the summer drags. He's like, nope. He's like, if it's a race, if it's 3 races, I'll wait until TT comes back and we'll run that final. That's the kind of camaraderie that you have throughout the ADRL pits. It's unlike anything else in drag racing. And now the man himself has come home.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how excited I am.
Thank you very much to all of you. I mean that. And I'm excited too. But I would tell you that I know you know this, but I know you don't ever flaunt it. But you have made so many racers famous for that. You know what that fame that a racer gets at a track? You made because I was there in the beginning, dude. I watched the whole thing.
Day one, Richard Small. I owe him the same debt of gratitude that you owe the Ledfords because he called me and he said,
Do you remember
he said, who's going to renounce the race? And I said, honestly, I'll probably have to do it myself because I don't have any budget, you know, as a drag for the inaugural drag stock, you know, over 100 cars showed up to race for an 8-car quick 8 on Saturday night. Right. So I'm like, I'll do it. And he's like, listen, until in your entire career with the ADRL, Richard Small kept his word and Flowmaster was a partner for that entire ride. Richard Small, the then vice president of marketing for Flowmaster, said, I will pay his wages. I will pay for his rental car. I will pay for his airfare. I'll pay for everything. And we got a guy who insists on not being mentioned. He's like, if you could ever, he said this to me back in 2017. He said, if you could ever get Tucci back, you call me and I will pay his wages. I'll pay his airfare. I'll pay his rental car, his hotel room. 0 expense to you. You got to bring Tucci home. And when it happened, he was the first guy just now when everything's going on. My text pops up and it's him. And he said, I can't wait to hand you that money. Now I'll keep it in confidence because I gave him my word that I would.
Let me tell a real story real fast, a true story.
Please.
And I don't share. I probably told you guys, I don't think Bob even knows. But listen, I was to do a big dog race that weekend, remember, for Pat Musey, they hired me. And all of a sudden, Richard Small calls me and comes up to me and says, look, we got the race, this ADRL, brand new. It's going to be all the fast world and fun. I'm like, really? I'm already booked, and I have that problem every now and then. I do. And I'm not, I don't brag about shit. I don't care. I just do what I do and I love doing it. But he goes, this is no lie. He goes, we will give you $10,000 to go do this race. And I'm like, $10,000? He goes, and pay all your expenses. So listen to me. And my wife
I knew I should have announced that race.
Listen. So anyway, I go to him. I talk to Pat Musey first because we're really close. He goes, no way, you're going to F me over. I go, Pat, they want to give me 10 grand. He grabs me and he goes, listen, asshole, if you don't take their money, I'll beat the shit out of you.
And Popeye would have done it.
I get out of there. So then I call Richard Small. I go, yeah, I'll take 5,000. I don't need 10. And he goes, what? And my wife goes, you think they're just giving you? They don't want to give you that for, what are you, nuts? I go, no, I'm not about that. I can't be bought, for one. And if I got to enjoy what I'm doing, I have to enjoy what I don't care. I've announced motocross. I've done tractor pulls, truck pulls. I've done everything. One of my last things I really want to try, and I mean, it's hard to do. I want to try that outlaw, those sprint cars. The
World of Outlaws.
Yeah.
I want to try that once before I'm out of here. I just have a feeling that I could throw my heart at it.
If they've got any sense, they'll anybody from the World of Outlaws, if anybody has any connections there, just call them. Because if you want the GOAT of motorsports announcing, period, to come to one of your races, the voice of the ADRL, Al Tucci, there's nobody you can hire any better. I mean, if you're going to play basketball and Michael Jordan's available, he's the guy you want to play with. If you want to play hockey and Wayne Gretzky's sticking around the skating rink, you might want to go and spend a few minutes, maybe catch some balls from Tom Brady. But Al Tucci, the GOAT, welcome home, brother. I cannot wait to see you.
Come on, Bubba, say that's all true. Let me hear Bubba say that's true. Come on, Bubba,
Conrad,
tell me it's true.
True.
Come on,
it's true, Tooch. You should have taken the 2,000.
I love it.
Taking the 10 grand.
Oh goodness! Any parting shots, my brother?
Hey, listen. Excuse me. I apologize.
I said any parting shots before we sign off.
I just want to say to the doc, it was nice to meet you. I can't wait to meet you in person.
My pleasure. I really can't wait to meet you, brother. I've heard so much about you, dude.
We're only 5 minutes over, Tucci. Give us a story right quick.
What do you want? Do you know any good ones?
Anything. Good one.
Well, there was this one time that hey, Kenny, you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't because my brain's like that. There was like probably about 11 little kids. Remember this, Kenny? In Memphis?
I do.
I said, free bubble gum at your coach, go. And you're two, and every one of those kids took off. Me and Brian Olsen looked off the balcony, and those kids were running like it was the Wizard of Oz, man. They took off, and all of a sudden they come back pouting. And Joey was just a little, I go, what's the matter? He goes, my dad kicked the door in my head. I will never forget that. I don't even know if I shared that. That was a great.
Oh my goodness.
We lived so
many great memories. But here's the best part. Many more to come. And Jason Byers,
amen,
my good friend from Michigan, and Miss Mary, happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I don't want to let you go out yet without someone that means the world to both of us. We're praying for you. We're thinking about you 24/7, 365. Lizzie Musey, we love you. And you're going to kick this thing's ass, man. If anybody will kick cancer's ass, cancer is officially fucked with the wrong person. I'm just going to say it. Forgive my language, kids. I know we're PG-13, but cancer done fucked with the wrong girl because she is going to kick its ass. And being able to hand her a trophy at the ADRL someday, it's going to happen. So to Kai and Lizzie and the entire Musey family, We love you, Lizzie Strong. You got this, girl.
I'm just,
we love you, girl.
Don't say no. Just say yes and go for it, and just keep strong.
Absolutely.
You got it. I've talked to people who fought that and won it, and they said, all I did was just stay focused and said, no way. Just like I said in the beginning, this diabetes crap. Believe me, I fight it. And I'll do what I got to do until the day I got to leave here. But I'm telling you, you got to have a positive outlook on everything in life. It doesn't matter. We all go to the bottom, and
Amen.
Believe me, it's a blast when we go right back to the top.
That's
In
right.
there and done.
Hell yes. Well,
yep.
Here's to going back to the top. So
the highlight of my career was you and Dave McClellan announcing
drag stock.
Oh,
2006, our Grand Marshal, Dave McClellan.
Tucci,
would you like to say hi to Dave?
Dave's no longer with us, but I would tell you, it was so
Tucci, listen, I realize that but would you like to say hi to him? Clearly he's watching down from above, say hi to him.
Dave McClellan, you were always my favorite. I loved you. I loved Steve Evans. I loved all those guys. Well, I will tell you absolutely that you are probably one of the more prolific announcers ever. Wix Air Filter couldn't afford you, but Fram would give you the funding for 1 million years to watch you bring the ADRL back to life. Thanks, Dave.
The greatest Dave McClellan ever.
Hey, I'm telling you, that's the highlight of my whole career.
Big Mac, man. I still have the cassette tape. I brought my little recorder. I've got the cassette tape of you and Dave McClellan announcing Extreme Pro Stock at Drag Stock 3. It was
it good?
Nothing will other than KJ winning the event, nothing would have topped that. But
him in the winner circle with Joey Martin.
Oh yeah, he's just down there.
He got up on the car.
He was having fun. I mean, remember we called his wife and acted and honey, I'm not sure where I left my watch. And she said, David, why are you using that voice? Hey, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I believe the Rolex might be sitting on the night table.
I had the big shows got punked and all that crap on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I had a show called You Got Pro Stock Punked, and I pro stock punked the late Joe Lapone, and I was sitting 3 tables away in a Georgia restaurant. And Musi was with me. He goes, "Do it, please do it." And I just called him and I said, "Joe, I remember when you were driving the job roller paper car, and I loved you then. Dave, is this really you?" Dude, I'm like, dude, I'm not kidding. And then I did Robert Patrick, and he goes, "My family loves you." Oh, a family that stays together, races together, Robert. You tell your mom. I'm not kidding you. I didn't mean to swear. Sorry, guys. But I pumped.
Hey, listen, I already broke that bubble a while ago.
Yeah, I did right out of the gate.
And my favorite one.
All right, well, good. I missed that part. I was having technical difficulties. You're just like, hey, when Mr. PG-13's not here. I'm wide open.
I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. I lost a job. Just same thing.
Joe Lapone was Letha's favorite pro stock driver. Over me. She liked him better than me.
We could bench race all day, but I'll leave you with this. So I'm not sure who Joe Lapone was working for when we were going to Qatar for all those years.
Everybody.
But they bought him a coach ticket. Now, in my contract, I'm like, listen, for me and all my staff, I am not 15 hours on a plane sitting straight up between like 2 people, because I'm the fat guy that would have got stuck between 2 fat guys. Not happening. Well, Lapone's flying coach. So a couple of times I saw him sneak up into business class, and he would just slide into the seat and just lay it back and try to go to bed. So finally, one flight, I'm like, I can't resist. I told the lady, I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." I'm like, that guy doesn't have a ticket to be in business class. And she goes over to him. She's like, "Excuse me, sir." She says, "May I see your ticket, please?" And he looks at me and like he makes eye contact with me, and he's like, "Motherfucker." We get off the plane and Lapone gets on the bus with us, and he's like, of all the people that I'd have never dreamed. He didn't talk to me for like 4 days. Then finally I'm like, "Come on, Joe." I'm like, it was a joke. I'm like, I could have done it like 2 hours into the flight. We only had like 90 minutes left.
That was awesome.
Oh, man. Good times.
Deep down, the guy had a heart of gold. He was the nicest
person. Are you
kidding?
Yes.
That guy was such a nice person. I'm not kidding. Yeah, and he had a lot of had a lot of tough things, with women in his life, and the wife, he loved her to death, but she just kept falling off the cliff. But I'm going to tell you what, that guy was genuine. That man,
100%.
I loved him. I'm not going to say that, man. That guy was a good friend of mine.
Get away in the car.
Anybody that can drive for Grumpy Jenkins automatically earns like 9 out of 10, on the respect meter.
Someday I'll tell you a Jenkins story. I'm not going to take
Yeah,
your
we
time
can't
now,
do
really
it, especially on a PG-13 show that went a little NC-17 tonight, but that's okay.
It's all right.
I apologize to all the people out there. If your kids are watching, I'm sorry.
Together, the very last bottle of unopened ADRL champagne on the planet.
It's mine. It's mine.
Drag stock.
Salute.
Saturday night in the winner's circle. We're popping the cork on this baby.
Amen.
God bless you.
All right. Tooch, listen.
All of you.
Welcome home, brother. Give your beautiful wife a hug. Kiss her right on the mouth like you're a teenager, and tell her I love her. Tell your kids, Anthony and the rest of the gang, we love them. Can't wait to see them. Welcome home, brother. We love you.
Welcome home.
Wait a minute. It's Ryan Allen Tucci, and I love Chevys my whole life, so it's Rat. And Anthony was born at 454. I got the name and the number.
Wow, there it is. It's great.
That's true.
Tell Kitty we still love her down here. She can call anytime.
Still the same lovable person. Just that woman time, a change of life. You know what I mean? It's just a tough deal. But God bless.
Yeah.
Conrad wanted a drink. I apologize.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. Hey, Doc, it was nice meeting you. I can't wait to meet you in person. I mean that. You're good. It's nice to hear you guys working good together, and Bubba and Letha and everyone. I can't wait to just see you guys again. I mean,
XRP, Ferris, Texas, June 9th, Dragpalooza. The ADRL unfinished business kicks off.
We got to get a hold of Smallwood, and that his name?
Who's Smallwood?
Whoever the guy was with.
Who?
The guy with Flowmaster. Got to pay for the trip.
Oh, Richard Small. No, hey, Tucci, you got a new benefactor. You got a new benefactor. It's okay. It's okay. My friend from, I can't even say where he's from because people will know right away, but just trust me. This guy's happier than anybody right now. He had crying emojis in his text because I didn't even tell him. I just said, tune in. Big news. He said, I can't wait to hand you that money. So I'll let him hand it to the controller because if not, I'll give it away to the fans.
I think you still owe me.
Guys. Bless all you.
I do.
Have a great night, Tooch.
A great comeback and a great race and all that.
Amen.
Can't wait.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night,
brother.
folks.
Love you, man.
Good night.
Hey, love you guys too. Remember, you don't have to drive fast and enjoy fast driving. Just come back next week.
Amen. Amen.
When he watches this back and sees, knowing that what a perfectionist he is, much like ourselves, Fears, he's got that same disorder. He's going to be like, I can't believe my phone was screwed up. Like, I should have went to a Starbucks and got better Wi-Fi or something. Like, what the hell?
The second you told him, the second you told Tooch he was having camera issues, he's like, what, really?
Oh,
Am I really? Like, you could tell the distress.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, oh, shit, really? What?
But when we told him the audio was coming through clear, that was all that mattered.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Man,
well, that was a pleasure. How awesome.
And if you don't think that was as big of an announcement as I pumped it up to be, you've never heard Al Tucci announce, and I suggest that you come to Ferris, Texas on June 9th and 10th for Dragpalooza. And if somebody, here's all I'll say, because I've knocked the window out of a tower in Texas once myself when Bill Doucette and the Wild Child Willis. I mean, listen, all due respect, they should have been tempered glass, but I'm not, that place was built in 86, so it's good. And Billy Meyer and his beautiful daughter, it's still one of the palaces of speed, my favorite drag racer of all time. What do we got? Oh, yeah, hang on. I got to introduce you guys to Conrad. Look at him turn his head. He's like,
Conrad's got a little, what is that?
Conrad's got a lover. No, you know what that is?
Hold on, let me look at it. Let me see what it is.
Don't give a shit.
Oh, it is a honey badger.
That's right. That is the honey badger.
Look at the badger.
Yeah, you know what his nickname is?
Winnie.
No.
Badass. Oh, adrenaline. I love it.
And all the time.
Look at these.
Look at these claws on this thing. Are you kidding me?
Jesus.
How'd you like to let those things rip into you?
He's a cobra eating machine.
That's actually a she, just so that
that was Billy the Badger till we found out she was a she.
Yeah, and you should have seen the look on Conrad today when he found out she was a C.
That's all right. These days it don't matter, I guess.
When Conrad, am I right, Conrad? When Conrad found out that, because he's eyeing them all day, and I'm like, oh no, not that there's anything wrong with it, to take a line from Seinfeld, but when Conrad found out that little Miss Adrenaline here was a Miss Adrenaline and not Mr. whatever you were calling him for all those years.
Bill the Badger.
Bill the Badger. Yeah, no. Conrad was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
with his one eye, one eye luster.
You know, if we could cue the music right now, producer Adam, it'd be that thing from Wayne's World. Dreamweaver.
I believe we can make. Yeah, I'm not even going to sing. I'm staying.
All right, well, listen, Tucci's home.
Tucci's home.
Can you believe it? I am just, man, I have no words. I have no words. So,
amazing. Cheers, brother.
Doctor. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
I wish I was there for our ritual celebration, Town Square Pub and Grub. You and Prince Adam.
Yeah.
Go have a few on me.
Yep. Wish we were there with you and Bubba and hanging out and having a good time as well.
I can't wait to meet you to your face.
Oh, same here, man.
A bunch.
All right. Conrad's ready to get a little litty. Oh, I'm sorry. He wanted me to give it to here you go. Get her liquored up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, give it to her, man.
What you're doing, Conrad. All right. Well, this thing's about to go off the rails, so I'll let you guys, on behalf of Conrad, his beautiful new girlfriend, Adrenaline, Bubba Corzine, my beautiful mom, Letha, Dr. Fears, producer Adam, always a blast. Tucci, welcome home, brother.
Tucci.
Piece of chick grease. You guys have a good night.
All right. Love you, ADRL Nation.
Love you guys.